Here's how I got my client's house sold in one day in the middle of a down market where homes are sitting on the market for 30, 60, 90, even 120 days. First thing I did was I got them out of their feelings and into the data. We acknowledged the fact that you raised your kids here. Let's acknowledge the fact that this is your first home and you've put a lot of love into it and there are some beautiful upgrades and add-ons here. Let's take that out of the picture because a home buyer actually finds very little value in a lot of the things that we may hold dear. So if we take that out of the equation and we do look at our neighbor's house, look at the house around the corner that just sold 2 months ago, look at the one that's on the market right now and really dive into the data, see what price this neighborhood is fetching, even this street. And we're lucky to be in a really good market where there's a lot of motion and activity, so we have a lot of other comparable sales to pull from. But let's not just think that the house is worth or will sell for this certain amount because of the emotional attachment that we put on it. See what the numbers say and then make our decision from there. So that was the first step. We got out of our feelings and we got into the data. The second thing we did was we got strategic and we got competitive. So we all know interest rates went up and killed the crazy seller's market that once was. It cut the buyer pool in half. I mean, the just amount of people out shopping and looking to actually get into a house is so much lower than it used to be. And then I think a little bit of FOMO happened with sellers who saw their neighbor sell for a certain amount or who just heard these stories of these crazy prices and offers on houses and home selling in one day. I think we have a lot of people who are missing out and still have that fear of missing out, who are listing now and hoping to get that number. So that drove the inventory up now. So you have less buyers and you have more options. We have to take that into consideration. The next thing we had to do was, again, look at the houses around us. Like, let's look at our neighbor. There were 6 houses on the market at that time. Let's look at all of those. Let's look at the features. Let's look at our strengths. Let's look at our weaknesses. Then compare that to what's on the market now. Then we took our next closest competitor and we looked at them, looked at us, and then we priced ourselves just slightly below where they were, right? So if somebody's out on the market and they're looking at the 2 houses, ours already has that slight price advantage. I think right now a lot of buyers are afraid to buy houses because interest rates are higher, so they're afraid to get into a situation where they're gonna lose money. And sellers in the last market, my home sellers, they got greedy. I'll just keep it real. And you cannot meet fear with greed. You have to meet fear with confidence. So if we price the house in a way that makes the buyer confident that they're getting a good deal, that they're not being taken advantage of, then we'll see the results and you'll spend less time paying your mortgage for those extra 3 months just because we priced it strategically against houses that were already on the market. The next step was flawless presentation. Now, this house wasn't like the most beautiful thing on the block. It definitely was not brand new. It was very lived in. It needed repairs. There was wood rot. We had broken fences. We had touch-up paint that needed to be happened. We had a driveway that needed to be power washed, and then the inside needed to be deep cleaned. And you know what? We addressed all of that stuff and other common issues that I see come up on inspection reports. We addressed all of that up front, because when a home buyer walks through a house, every time they see a flaw, every time they see an issue, even if the floor plan is perfect and amazing for them, every time they see something like that, it's like they check off $1, check off another $1, check off another $1, and that just drives your price lower and lower, or it drives your days on market up. So even though we don't have all the modern upgrades and fixtures, what we can do is master our presentation, all right? So we made it look as good as we could possibly make it look on our own for a low budget. Then we took the best pictures we possibly could get. I have a master real estate photographer, took amazing pictures. We got drone footage so you could see the neighborhood, see the yard, and we kind of put everything onto its own website. That way it could all live together. There was a beautiful 3D tour. So By the time a buyer stepped into this house, they already knew exactly what this was, right? We took those beautiful pictures, popped it on some postcards, and sent it out so that it would hit the neighbors right before we hit the market. And we had little QR codes that led you to the website. Then we called, we dialed the neighbors to just tell them that this thing was coming. And the funny thing is, after all this work, all this build up, this presentation, the first day on market, we only got 3 showings. In the old days, not even the old days, last year, this time, we would have had 20 or 30 showings in the first day and at least 13 or 14 offers. I and the sellers were both like we were a little let down. We're like, man, we did all this prep, we got it all ready, and now we only have a few people show up. Well, it only takes one person to buy the house, right? One family. That's what happened. We had a few people show up, but they were the right people. And we got an offer that very same day. We got our asking price, and that saved them a month or two worth of mortgage, utilities, taxes, insurance, and all the other things that come along with holding a house. And then you got to worry about the water heater going bad while you're living in it, while it's on the market. You got to fix that, right? Like, this saved them all of that money and heartache, and they were actually very realistic about their expected days on market. So when we got it sold the very first day, they were like, oh snap, like we got to start packing up and moving now, like we got to get ready to go. So it was an amazing feeling, and it was an amazing opportunity to help them. So if you're thinking about putting your home on the market, maybe you can take these facts into consideration. This is what we did. This is what we do now for every listing, and not all of them sell in one day. Of course, you need some serendipity. You need some luck. You need a little bit of magic. But if all of your ducks are in a row and you've done everything you can do to prepare, then the battle will be won before you even fight it. So I hope this was helpful. Hope this gave you a little bit of insight. Drop in the comments below if you're thinking about buying or selling. What kind of mental preparation are you doing to get yourself ready to hit this market? Because it's unique, it's different from even any other market even before, and there's opportunities now. I call this a balanced market because buyers and sellers can both win. You just have to have a right plan going into it. You gotta be strategic, gotta be competitive. So what are you doing to mentally prepare to list your house or to get out into the market and buy a new house? What are you doing now? Let me know in the comments. Would love to hear from you. Thanks for spending a little bit of time with me here today. I'll see you on the flip side. Peace.